if we're going to talk about funding, we kind of separate, what's out there for a brand new startup business, what's out there for an established business, what's the status of the employee retention credit, does it still exist?
So obviously the other opportunity that's still out there that a lot of small business owners have not yet taken the opportunity, they have not taken advantage of, is that employee retention credit. And a lot of you too, it's interesting. I was speaking, over the Easter weekend with one of my relatives, and she was, asking about starting a business and getting financing. And I asked her some, I said, how many small business owners do you know? And she actually, well, I know quite a few. And I said, wow, that's awesome. How many of them, had employees during the pandemic? And she's like, yeah, that they, this one had 5, this one had 7, this one had 8. And in a lot of these areas, especially in kind of smaller areas or blue collar businesses, they don't know that this ERC employee retention credit exists. And it's this opportunity where if you had employees, you can get, a tax refund check for just keeping those employees on board during the pandemic. And if you know these business owners, well, you can get paid, a huge commission, 2.5% of their refund in a commission just for introducing the program to them. And our team will make sure they qualify and do all the heavy lifting to take care of them. This is a huge way for you to actually, make a lot of money over the next 6 to 12 months. And then, of course, when that employee retention credit opportunity expires, well, now you've got some capital that you can invest in a new business, that you can invest in real estate, you can invest in a Turo business, you can invest in your business funding, finance business, so many ways to benefit. But that's a huge opportunity for the small business owner and to also get paid for helping the small business owner. That is another reason why the business funding marketplace is on fire, because of this employee retention credit. You're seeing it, right? You're seeing the ads. I mean, you were at the Masters. How many ads did you see about this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting there watching it, and one of the biggest names in the ERC tax refund, whatever you want to call it, they're running ads on the Masters TV stage, right? What was that? ABC, NBC, whatever it was on.
Yeah,
they're literally running ads. I'm like, goodness sakes, this is... The money's there. The money is there for business owners to get access to stimulate the economy because of hardships that they faced. And the biggest advice I have, Leo, is too many businesses are disqualifying themselves. Look, if you don't qualify, you don't qualify. Let a professional that does this all day, every day, tell you you don't qualify. Don't disqualify yourself, because chances are you didn't read the bill. You haven't read all the ins and outs of what's on the IRS website. There may be something that you didn't even know existed that gets you qualified. So yeah, we're not going to push someone through that doesn't qualify, but don't disqualify yourself, because chances are you're missing out on some money there.
It's so true. And funny enough, we were at a soccer tournament in Vegas, of course, and we're sitting there by our friends, and my wife starts talking to our friends, and lo and behold, they had sold a business, but they owned it in 2020 and 2021 when the pandemic was happening, and now he's getting an extra $50,000 ERC refund. He had no idea. And my wife just shared it with him, and lo and behold, they qualified. They had gotten the PPP loan, so we subtracted out that quarter, but he's pretty happy to be having an extra $50,000 he can use for business or investment. Really smart real estate investor guy. On the other hand, just exactly what you were saying, my wife also was sharing this with our dentist, and our dentist said, oh, my accountant said this is going to be a red flag with the IRS. I better not do it. I'm like, oh my goodness, man, I know you could use some extra money and capital into your business right now, and yet you're not willing to, do the extra, time and research to actually see if you qualify, and to just make a decision out of fear that, oh, I don't want to be part of the IRS's red flag. Well, the IRS, there's literally millions of businesses taking advantage of this program. And so it's not really, as long as you worked with a reputable group that followed the guidelines, you don't have anything to worry about. And as long as you answered correctly and gave a real payroll report, then you don't have anything to worry about. The only people that have something to worry about are those that are, doing unscrupulous, fake reports, which are, the law's going to come after them, no question. But everybody else, you're in the guidelines. And if you don't take advantage of this, it's just foolishness, because this is an opportunity that will probably never be around again.
Exactly. I mean, the IRS already knows what your 941s looked like from the previous quarter, the previous year. They know what your business tax returns look like. So the red flags are going to be if you had 20 employees and all of a sudden ERC comes out and you have 40 employees, right? That's where, sadly, there's groups out there that are doing that, creating these fake employees and changing reports and this and that. And truth be told, they should get in trouble. I'm glad they're going to get in big trouble for that, because that's bogus. But those of you that actually qualify, don't disqualify yourself out of fear, because this was designed to help stimulate businesses, to help stimulate the economy. Don't disqualify yourself for that.
And for everyone who's in, the business finance space and you're looking to grow your business, the biggest problem that you have is you don't have enough deals and leads because you don't do enough outreach. What will happen? One of the saddest things I ever saw when I first got into this, and there was a fine gentleman in Florida, and I brought him on as a funding partner, and I taught him about the opportunity. And he went out there and he got a good client, and he brought that client in. And then week after week, I do the training with our group. And he literally said, "Oh, I'm so happy with my whale." His big client called him a whale. And that whale ended up making him like $2,500 or something like that when the deal got funded. But he didn't keep reaching out. He didn't keep on finding new business owners to help. And it's so simple. I mean, we did a training with a strategy that your wife Marie's been using, where literally she'll just go to a restaurant and then send them a message on Facebook. Hey, really enjoyed, your food. Have you gotten this ERC benefit refund yet? And a lot of times they haven't. And she's helping these business owners, and she's making a great, income by helping them get this money. And she just continuously is reaching out. And that's the way that some business finance professionals, this is going to be a huge thing that's going to change their lives. I mean, we've seen it from some of our funding CEOs like Francois. He's made 6 figures in 6 months with the ERC. Some of our other guys are, really taking advantage of this because they're constantly working on it every day. And that's how every business grows. You're constantly generating more clients, more demand, more momentum. And if you stop and you think, oh, I've got enough leads, then that's usually when, things fall out.
Yeah, I think that goes for anything in life, Leo.
It does.
It comes back to that instant gratification and how success doesn't happen overnight. And it's super important that we just continue to work and work and work and work. I had that experience. I know I keep coming back to the Masters. It was obviously a super important thing to me. And I went with my cousin Ben, and what's interesting is it's been about 5 years. So 5 years ago to about this time, it was right around Easter, we were playing golf in St. George, Utah, awesome golf location. And I see this little gold, it was a ball marker, but it was upside down. So I see this shiny gold ball marker on the ground. I said, oh, look, I go pick it up and I turn it over, and it's the Masters. It's a Masters logo ball marker. And it was one that you're not going to buy it on Amazon. Like, wow. Someone went and attended the Masters and got that and lost it, and I happened to find it on the golf course. And I looked at Ben. I said, dude, we're going to go to the Masters one day. And I put that into the universe, and we kept talking and talking. And, year after year, how are we going to do it? What are we going to do? How are we going to get there? And we finally now, 5 years later, both felt like we were in a financial situation to go out and purchase a single day ticket to the Masters, which isn't cheap. It was about $2,800 just to go to one day, not to mention the travel, everything that goes into it. But it was something that, having that goal, having that vision, and then doing the things that we needed to do day in and day out to get there, that's how you achieve success. That's how you accomplish things that you want to accomplish. It's never, oh, I found my whale and I'm good to go. It's got to be day in, day out, a grind, a relentless grind at that.
And the cool thing is, when you have the vision of these big events, these things will just kind of naturally happen and occur to you, right? And for me, I wanted to see Tom Brady play in person before he retired. And last year, we had the opportunity to go do that. Was that Sunday night or Monday Night Football? It was Sunday night.
Yeah, it was
Sunday night
yep.
football, week 1. And Tom and the Bucs went out and played the Cowboys. I was in Cowboys Stadium. Awesome experience. My daughter has been wanting to go to a great concert for years. And at a time where I didn't feel like it made sense financially, we couldn't do that. But now she was able to wait. She was patient. We were able to take her to Taylor Swift. I mean, these are the things that happen when you're patient. And then the other thing that will happen is there are really cool people you want to work with. For years, I had watched Patrick Bet-David, and we'd followed him and learned from him and his mentoring. And we had the opportunity to sponsor an event, speak in an event right before actually he went up as the keynote speaker, meet him in person. He recorded a cute little video funny for my wife because I told him that, well, she actually likes his podcast but doesn't like a lot of the Grant Cardone and the other type guys, and so he liked that, and so he did a funny little video. But it's funny, these things will come into your life if you're putting forth a relentless effort. You'll attract them. But if you just focus only on them and not on what needs to be done on a daily basis to get there, then you'll never actually have those experiences. And that's what's cool. You attract what you earn and what you reap and what you sow, and some of those biblical principles coming full circle.
Yeah, exactly. That's something I really have to remind myself of, Leo, is today's idea doesn't need to be executed tomorrow, but it needs to be acted on today. Like, you've got to start acting. You've got to start doing things that are going to put you in the position to achieve those goals, to achieve those dreams, and you've got to figure out how you're going to constantly remind yourself of them. For me, that ball marker that I found 5 years ago is still sitting in my truck. I've seen that probably 100 times from the time I found it to the time I went to the Masters. And that little ball marker means so much to me at this point, probably more than any ball marker I just went and purchased at the Masters. But I think it's really important as business owners, we figure out what's going to help us stay relentless, because that's what it comes down to. So figure out that why, figure out how you're going to stay relentless, and you'll do exactly what you set out to do.
I love that. What's your ball marker, right? What is that one thing that you can look at every single day that you're working towards, that you know is not a one-time event? It's a process that you're going to work to and earn and attract into your life at some point. And so that's where you start thinking, well, what's the one thing I can do today that's going to get me closer, to going to my bucket list event? I want to go to the Masters. I want to, take my family to Playa del Carmen, or on a cruise, or to Disney World, or whatever the case may be that means something really important for you and your family. Well, what do you have to do? What's the one thing you can do today that's going to get you closer? What's going to actually move the needle? And the biggest problem that we have is we fill our calendar full of all these tasks, but are we really working on high leverage tasks that are actually taking us where we need to go? Right? Are we just doing something to make it feel like work that seems good, or are we actually doing something that's going to translate and give us the opportunity to make the income, to build the business, to build the brand? Those are the keys that are going to set you apart. And if you're consistently working at them day after day, then all of a sudden, month after month, year after year, that's where you get to see really fun results, and things can change for you and your family.